Hello, welcome back to Tiny Artist TV. I have no idea what happened to the intro that I swear I filmed for this video. It's just been swallowed up by my computer, or maybe I just didn't do it because I've been filming intros ahead of time and maybe it got lost in the ether. Anyway, today's palette is number 46, Yellowfin, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into the drawing because, as mentioned, I don't have an intro for this one. As always, and for the sake of transparency, I leave the initial sketch in, and even though I do get to the point of fully lining it, I let it sit for a day, and then I decide that even though the pose is okay, the character is okay, it's not my favorite, so I end up scrapping it and go with a completely different, well, not completely different, same species, different pose, different feel, style of character, and it's actually a species of alien that I'm working on for a separate project, which I started last year. I wrote the script for, and I've just kind of let it sit on the back burner while I'm working on my webcomic Black Pearl. It's actually another webcomic that I was working on before Black Pearl, and then in the midst of me having to move everything, got overwhelmed with having to keep a schedule and decided I'll come back to this later because it's a pretty big it's a pretty big story with a lot of characters, a lot of world hopping and a lot of different species of characters, and this is one of the species. So with this particular color palette, I leaned into doing work with that, but as you can see, yeah, I'm going on and lining it, and I'm like really getting into it, but again, I let it sit for a day and decide that even though it's okay, I could do better. So I decide to do better. Moving on to the actual character, so this particular species of alien is telepathic, and the design basically, like all of the fronds and things, kind of aid in their telepathy. They have essentially two types of classes: lore-based classes and assassin-based classes. So you are either a memory keeper or a memory deleter, effectively. And so this particular archetype of character, I decided she's going to be an assassin. And this kind of gave me a chance to explore a little bit more of what an assassin built character in this species might look like. And so I give her a lot of natural armor plating in places where she would need it, such as chest, hips, anywhere that has like high friction or anywhere that would again need that natural protection. On the elbows, the knees, the heels, the ankles, places like that. So I just thought it was really like a really fun excuse to draw scales. I like doing like a lot of fine detail, like scales and things like that, especially when I'm drawing characters like dragon-esque characters. I love drawing the scales. I know some people hate it because it's so tedious, but like that's like I thrive on that. Maybe it just comes from being a person who likes doing line art anyway. These extra, I guess you would call them not quite arms. What would you call them? Limbs. They're these fang type things, whatever. They are psionic blades, and basically that's part of the telepathic nature. The more powerful a user is, the more arms they can produce and concentrate on at any given time. So since she has 6 limbs, she's a pretty high class assassin. Moving on to what I like to call the chrome coat, where I'm basically just blocking out the colors and feeling out what I think would look best, make the most sense aesthetically. And another reason I chose to go with this species of alien is because their skin naturally ranges from like periwinkle, lavender, blue, like either true blue or like gray blue, to like ultraviolet, and like so like that kind of low light scale. And then everything else around her is just like camouflage choices. The stripes on her skin help her blend into undergrowth and things like that, like light scatter. And I try to kind of push that when I work on the shading later. And I decided that the shading looks muddy and messy, and it makes it look like she has more layers of spots and things that she doesn't necessarily need, and so I don't keep it, but I keep it in the video for you guys to see because I thought I was going to end up keeping it with the design. But yeah, so at this point the color blocking is all done, it's all cleaned up, and I'm just going in and adding details and other things that may or may not be necessary for this particular character, but just things that I thought would look good on her. So you can see starting here, I'm trying to give the effect that she's got like some like sunlight scattering through leaves going across her, but it just ends up looking muddy and messy. And this is typically what I do when I am depicting a character that's kind of like under a bunch of trees and there's sunlight poking through. But for her, it doesn't translate as well because she already has markings on her skin and she already has a lot going on. So even though I work with it and I try to make the lighting stronger to indicate that this is light and not another layer of patterning on her skin, I end up scrapping it. And I like the flats better, so I'm not too upset about that. But you don't know unless you try. So we are now at the end of day 9 of my 115 character palette challenge series. I hope you guys enjoyed this character. Let me know what you think, and let me know if there's anything you want to know about the lore behind this character, or if you want to make your own, that would be cool too. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a weird day.